Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome back to your Neck of the Woods podcast, episode 5, May 19th, 2024, produced by Gabe the Great. Thank you so much for joining me again today. Words truly cannot express my gratitude for all of your support. Um, it, it means the world to me. So thank you so much. But let's get right to it. Um, well, folks, the weather is still as crazy as the news. I'm just as crazy as the weather. And yes, the glasses are still crooked. With that said, let's talk local first. Why wait? This is your neck of the woods, after all. We joke about false spring a lot of times in towards the end of winter. Um, well, get ready for false summer this week. Before we get into particulars for this week's forecast, NOAA released its NOAA released its seasonal forecast for summer 2024. Here are the takeaways. In general, above average temperatures. Shocker. Above average temperatures, particularly in the Northeast, and even more so from West Texas to New Mexico to Arizona to Utah. And I will show you an image of their map that they released. Um, to depict where these areas that are most likely to experience above average temperatures are. But with that being said, before I show the image, I want to add in the forecast, nowhere in the United States is forecasted to be below average, and almost everywhere, more areas than not, I should say, are forecasted to experience above average temperatures. Here's the image. As you can see the area to the northeast that I mentioned, and with that big swath across um, across western Texas, central New Mexico, most of Utah, southwest Colorado, eastern Arizona. With the lower 48, the one area that has a shot for what they deem equal chance of below or above would be the Minnesota region, um, the Minnesota, Montana, and North Dakota region. So we'll see how that plays out. Time will tell. They're more right than they are wrong. So back to my face. Um, how about precipitation? Because they don't just forecast temperature; they also forecast precipitation outlooks for the summer. Um, NOAA expects a wetter than average summer, primarily in the east, particularly the southeast, and then below average for the majority of the western half of the country. And let me get right to that image because the image speaks for itself more than I can speak for it. Here is the precipitation outlook that was released. And then yes, like I said, it shows a good swath of above average precipitation in the southeast. And it's if you happen to notice the same areas that are forecasted or close to the same areas that are forecasted for above average temperatures also are forecasted for below average precipitation. That's not necessarily a coincidence. I also would like to say that what are we looking at here? I actually pulled a pic back up here. You can see the percentages down at the bottom. I will also the show the temperature one again, and again the percentages down in the bottom for the key. What are those percentages referring to? What does that key really mean? Um, they're based on standard deviation derived percentages. The likelihood per each level of deviation to occur. Um, it takes a lot to get a very high percentage forecasted, and as it should, as it should. Um, let's talk about planting, hopefully for the last time. Gardens. If you haven't planted, if you live below an elevation of 1,200 feet, which is almost all of you, plant away. Get your green thumbs out. Grow those crops, baby. Let's go. If you're in the Adirondack Park, if you're in the fringe of the Adirondack Park, give it another 10 days. It's not gonna hurt. Our growing season is long enough that 10 days is not gonna hurt you. It's only gonna help you, and it'll be you'll be safe in the long run. Um, Another thing I want to discuss with that ties into this is a personal belief of mine. Um, Personally believe that the growing season in central New York, from what I've witnessed over the last 20 years, um, has already ever so slightly become longer due to climate change. Do I have any math, data, or evidence of that? No, I do not. Just my own personal witness, what I've been forced to mow, what I've watched my gardens do over the last couple decades, so on and so forth. I'd love to see a study about that, or some data even that shows, uh, when the growing season began and ended, the average length of our growing season over the last 60 years per se, or even, the last 30 to see how it's transitioned over the last 30, because it seems to me that our freeze, especially within the city of Utica, happens after Halloween now, which is crazy when we used to have snow on the ground. Um, but that's something I intend to monitor regardless of whether any professional decides to bring it up. I'm going to keep an eye on it locally. It's one of our microclimate um, possible climate changes that I think has occurred ever so slightly. That intrigues me. I'm going to keep an eye on it. All right, let's get to numbers. It is absolutely going to be summer this week. If you're like me, you're going to want air conditioning. So get the AC out, get ready to turn on your central air if you are fortunate enough to have it. If you do, um, check your air filters. It's always a good idea to check your air filters for multiple reasons. One, you'll spend a lot less money and your equipment will work a lot better. Besides the fact that you're increasing your safety. Just a quick little clean of the air filter can make all the difference in the world for a strong, healthy air conditioning unit. Just a friendly reminder there. Um, as for sleep, because I don't like to sleep with uh, high humidity and warm temperatures, I immediately look ahead and I'm like, okay, what days are going to be the worst for sleep? Um, with this upcoming week, the 2 nights that are going to be the least comfortable for sleep, or as I like to say, the shittiest sleep weather, is going to be Tuesday and Wednesday night. With the exception of Tuesday and Wednesday night, every night should be pretty comfortable. Throw a fan in the window and no worries. Um, let's talk about Sunday today, May 19th. Patchy fog is anticipated around all of central New York this morning because the relatively humid air that is out there. Um, if you happen to have been out there this evening, you would know, you could feel it. It's noticeable. Um, and the mild temperatures as well. It's not chilly at all. They're approaching one another, and as the dew point and the temperature get closer and closer, condensation will eventually happen. Highs are going to be around 79 degrees today. We're at the time of the year where the high temperatures are going to start to occur later in the day. Um, this is for two reasons. We have longer period of daylight, um, both earlier sunset, or I'm sorry, earlier sunrise, later sunset, as well as the sun at a higher angle in the sky. As a result of this, the highs are going to start to occur 4:45, 5 o'clock, 5:15, as opposed to 2:30, 3 o'clock on your average day. Not every day, Not every day. Sometimes the highs occur at midnight. Sometimes the highs occur at 7 a.m. But your average day now, it's going to start to be closer to your evening time frame. With that being said, um, let's talk numbers for the week. Monday, mostly sunny skies, 83 degrees. Tuesday, mostly sunny skies, extreme slight chance of a thunderstorm between 1 and 7 p.m. I'm talking 15 to 20%. High of 85. Wednesday, our warmest day. Mostly sunny skies, 86 to 88 degrees. That's not May. Well, it is in 2024. Um, the threat for thunderstorms dramatically develop excuse me, drastically increases and develops Wednesday evening. Excuse me, primarily after 8 p.m. Um, I happen to not have to work Wednesday, so I will be doing a morning or midday update on that severe weather or potential severe weather or potential nuisance weather for that matter. So I'll be on the lookout for episode 6. There will be an update about the storm threat for Wednesday evening posted um, midday Wednesday at the absolute latest, um, as well as what to expect precisely for the rest of the week. In general, I can say expect unsettled weather, nothing extreme in any sense of the matter, and temperatures that are going to be in the low to mid 70 range. So, relatively comfortable weather. Just a few things to cover nationally. First off, currently trending, an incredible meteor was captured a few hours ago in Portugal. And the video that I'm about to show you um, might be the most impressive mistakenly captured meteor I've ever seen. Re- just released on social media. So check this out.
Щось небо. Гитлер бы
Что это? А что это? Блин, а что это было?
That's a dash cam. That's so cool. That's two people in Portugal that just were driving at night last night and happened to capture that. It was seen by thousands and probably millions of people, primarily in Portugal and some of the neighboring countries as well. I'm gonna show it one more time because I think it's that impressive. You can see the street behind it.
Гитлер бы
Что это? А что это?
Lights up the entire sky.
Блин, а что это было?
Man, I can't. That's impressive. I think that's really cool. That's really, really freaking cool. Um, in the south, the tornadoes have continued to rage on since the last episode this past week. Instead of reading you storm reports, I want to talk more about today's severe weather threat, Sunday, May 19th. Um, the Storm Prediction Center has already issued a moderate risk for severe weather storms today, which is the second highest rating that they can issue. They are capable of issuing a high risk, which we only get a few of a year. Um, they're horrible days normally. Um, so where's ground zero today for severe weather? Kansas, particularly these cities in Kansas. These are the most populated cities in the highest threat area of Kansas. Salina, Hutchinson, Garden City, Dodge City, and Newton, Kansas. Greatest tornado threat exists today for the cities in Kansas of Wichita, Salina, Manhattan, Hutchinson, as well as Enid, Oklahoma, which happens to be very on the very north end of the state, closer to Kansas. Northern Oklahoma, south central Kansas, and other areas as well. Um, there will be plenty other storms elsewhere. However, the most dangerous of which, the most dangerous weather that's most likely to occur is in the areas that I just mentioned. So for now, with that said, stay beautiful. Thank you so much. And as always, say la vie.